Getting critical race theory out of our schools is not just a matter of values, it's also a matter of national survival. We have no choice. The fate of any nation ultimately depends upon the willingness of its citizens to lay down, and they must do this, lay down their very lives to defend their country. If we allow the Marxists and communists and socialists to teach our children to hate America, there will be no one left to defend our flag or to protect our great country or its freedom.
So much stupidity there in that little section there of Donald Trump's speech out in South Carolina over the weekend, where he was energizing his supporters, making sure they knew that he might or might not or potentially could but could not run for president again, just long enough to keep them giving him money. As he was doing that, he did ratchet up the pressure though. When it comes to teaching about CRT and keeping that out of our schools, you have to lay down your life for the cause. Let's watch him say that part again in case you missed it.
It's also a matter of national survival. We have no choice. The fate of any nation ultimately depends upon the willingness of its citizens to lay down, and they must do this, lay down their very lives.
Lay down their very lives. I want you guys to think about a couple phrases there, just in that little section again. We have no choice. We. At the end of that sentence, it was they must do this when it comes to the citizens. Laying down the lives is the they. We have no choice is the we. It's almost like these folks that are cheering on him, literally telling them, you should die for me. It's like they forgot the last time he told a bunch of supporters, I'm gonna do this thing with you. You should go ahead and do it. If you guys don't forget, remember this?
After this, we're gonna walk down and I'll be there with you. We're gonna walk down. We're gonna walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're gonna walk down to the Capitol. And we're gonna cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not gonna be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
We're gonna march down to the Capitol. I'll be there with you, but you can't show weakness and you have to show strength. So go there and do your thing as I hang out in the tents and cheer and applaud it and laugh about it with my family. So Adrian, as he continues to go in this next realm of asking his supporters to then die for him and they cheer it on, how many more realms deeper can we go into this madness?
Well, it's just like his grit. The fact that he gets everyone riled up, he gets people to do things for him. He doesn't take any responsibility as well. This is who this person is. And if so many members of our society can't see that and they continue to rally behind it, they're just gonna be one of the many casualties that he leaves behind. And it's just extraordinary how individuals continue to support him, continue to listen to him and uplift him, even though he has made it abundantly clear exactly the man that he is, which is someone who is here to take, not to give, and who will leave you high and dry when you are in need. There is no loyalty for this man at all when it comes to everyone else, but he demands loyalty to himself.
To the death. Now, by the way, I feel like he had to crank it up to death and life and death because as we've been hearing for the past year and a half, he's been complaining about the same thing over and over and over again. Eventually you have to change up your pitch to be like, okay, it's gotten out of one. By the way, this is over critical race theory. This is over teaching of critical race theory, which is the latest nonsense strawman that they've built up to rile up their base over absolutely nothing. Now you must die for this empty cause. We'll see how much they talk about it after the midterms. So by the way, these folks, maybe they're not tired of it, but let's go into more about about how they're pushing this. Because this is a very, very well thought out approach here. GOP politicians and conservative media obsess over the use of this issue to gin up outrage that might translate into future votes. But in the meantime, definitely it translates into donations and ratings. That's what Andrew Hartman, who's a history professor at Illinois State University, said to Insider in June of last year. And on Thursday, the Florida Senate, passed a bill that would limit race-related discussions in classrooms and workplaces, which delivered a win to Republicans who oppose critical race theory teaching in schools. So they're not only just pushing this for life and death, but also implementing it. So where's the life and death coming in here, Donald? It's for complete loyalty to him. Now, by the way, this is across the party. This is the strategists and how they think they're gonna win in 22. So there's another Republican strategist. His name is Brendan Buck, and he worked as a top aide under Republican House Speakers Boehner and Paul Ryan of Wisconsin. He said the Republican electorate had changed to focus more on culture wars and fighting wokeism rather than on whether their elected leaders would deliver on policy victories. On top of that, Buck said the Republican electorate had changed to focus more on culture wars and fighting wokeism. Wait, that's the same thing we just said, sorry. He said, I don't know the Republican voters cared too much about policy as much as they used to. Really? It's much more of a cultural fight that they're waging, and that that is really what motivates people. This was said back in January. I keep bringing up this point because that is the Republican strategy now. So every time you think about why they say what they're standing for, what their principles are, or what it is that you need to die at Donald Trump's feet over, it's completely based off of them saying, let's not run on any principles, no policy, no agenda, because Americans don't like what we say, don't like what our policies are. We have to make sure that they're on our side because you have to hate those other folks. You're against CRT. What about those transgender folks? Hey, gay kids in classrooms. Oh my God, they're gonna kill us. It doesn't matter. None of it means anything to them. The whole point is to scare you into voting with them.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that they've been doing this for decades, if not centuries, creating these stereotypes, these fears, and fear-mongering people, lying about marginalized groups in some way, make you think that your world would change such that you will become obsolete. That is the message that they continue to send. But part of me, I don't feel for these people who follow in droves and get all crazy, feared out about these things because they've been doing it so often and for so long. I just have to hold those people accountable now, because it's like, okay, so you choose to be stupid. All right, well, I can't feel bad for you because you should exercise some common sense and realize that you're being played like a puppet and it's to the detriment of us all.
Primarily it's their detriment once they lay their lives down for them. We'll see when that starts happening, or if that's something else people go, he was just joking. You guys can't take a joke. He just told us to die, that's all. Which, when it came to the COVID protocols and things they listened to him on, many did, sadly.